Good morning and welcome to Chrisley Confessions 2.0. Today's episode is unlike any that we've ever done before. I want to introduce to you guys Kim Clark. She is the mother of Jake Harris. Jake lost his life after being killed by his wife in Watertown, Tennessee. While many people have seen these headlines, today's conversation isn't about sensationalizing a tragedy. It's about remembering a son, understanding the devastating impact of domestic violence and drug abuse, and hearing directly from the woman who knew Jake better than anyone. Kim, thank you for trusting us enough to tell your story. I know this is the first podcast that you've ever done.
It is, and thank you for having me.
So we know, we can't know, but I could imagine that it's not an easy thing to tell, no matter how many times you tell it.
Yeah.
But before we begin, I want our listeners to know that if at any point during this conversation, Kim needs a minute, we're going to take it.
Thank you.
This is her story to tell.
Thank you.
So I want to start with who Jake was.
Ooh.
I want you to tell us about Jake. I want you to tell us about what kind of little boy he was.
Yeah.
I want you to tell us what he loved to do growing up.
Oh, gosh. He was my firstborn, the most beautiful brown-eyed baby boy you had ever seen. We knew from day one he was going to be an athlete. He was one of those boys that was born with a football and baseball in his hand. So growing up, very involved in sports. I actually coached
I love that.
his baseball team and their soccer team. Watertown is such a very small community. Like population at the time was probably like 4,800. And I ran a daycare at the time so I could be a stay-at-home mom with he and his brother Matt. So, he grew up with almost every child in Watertown, at one point. And had that love for football and love for his community and love for his family.
Right. And I know just having a son that a mom's relationship with their son is just something that until you have it, you don't understand it.
I was a stadium mom.
Me too.
I was thrown out the football field a couple times, off the ball field.
Right.
I was hollering from the fence.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Grayson tells today, he's like, I had these coaches come up and was like, is that your mom? Because she's being a little loud.
Yeah.
I like to say I was passionate.
Yeah, they had I remember one little boy on the team said, she's not our coach, is she? And the director said, well, yeah, this is Miss Kim. He said, well, she wears lipstick. Is she our coach? Yeah. But we actually went undefeated. It was 5 to 7 year olds, so we had a really awesome team. Yeah.
I love that. So he grew up with a brother.
Yep, grew up with his brother Matt. They were inseparable. There was 2 years between them, so both of them very avid. Football player. It was awesome.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I think it's just so important for people to know that, Jake was so much more than just a part of this horrible story.
Yeah.
He was your son.
Yeah, we, so sorry. That's why, I feel like I need to be his voice. We do not want him to be just another statistic, of a murdered man. He was a extraordinary son, a beloved brother, uncle. He was very supportive, of his nieces and nephews and all their sports that they do. He was the best daddy, to Kaylin and Ian.
Love that. I love that. It's easy to say hindsight's 20/20 or to look back.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about the years leading up to the tragedy. When did he meet his wife? When did they know each other growing up? Was it a small town?
They did. They was middle school sweethearts in 7th grade. He was a football player. She was a cheerleader. They dated through middle school, had that little separation time doing high school because he was one of those, if you called him on a Monday night and wanted to go out or do something, he'd be like, no, I can't, man. I got a game on Friday.
Right.
He was so focused and so driven on football and school. And I was so proud of that. Like, I didn't want them to, let that girlfriend, interfere with their high school years, get sidetracked. Then they graduated and started their relationship right where it went off. I've knew her family for probably 30 plus years. I ran a daycare, I said, in Watertown.
Right.
So her uncles were in my daycare. So it wasn't like a family that we were being newly introduced to. We were very familiar, very acquainted with them. Then they got married.
Mm-hmm. So how old were they when they got married?
They were 20.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
So young.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He just turned 21. I'm sorry. He was 21. Yeah.
It's the same age you were.
Yeah.
And did you think they were happy? I mean, looking back again, I know you have probably replayed this a million times in your mind. Like, what was it? Were there warning signs that you feel like maybe I should have seen this, or maybe?
Like you said, you look back over and over, and I'm like, what did I miss? Julie, there was nothing. There was nothing. Again, we're such a small family, so every family gathering, they was all there. She was helpful in the kitchen, always, brought a side dish, and everyone would tell you that they were the most loving couple. The district attorney himself said he went through 36 months of text messages, and if you were writing a book, it would have been the perfect love story. The perfect love story.
So, Kim, let me ask you, we got to know you through my mother.
Yes.
So my mother became friends with you several years ago.
Yeah.
And my mother came to me when I was in Pensacola at my summer retreat and told me about what had happened.
Yes.
And I remember my mother sitting there with me weeping.
Yeah.
Because it has had such an effect on her because of how much she loves you.
Yeah.
But there are two children involved here.
There is.
And your oldest granddaughter is 18.
She is. Yeah, she just graduated. And then she was 16 at the time. Ian was 12.
And they were in the home.
They were both at home. It was 1:16 in the morning. This was Thanksgiving weekend. Mm-hmm. And Caitlin was awoke by the gunshot.
So she heard the gunshot go off in her home. She heard the gunshot
go off in her home and ran back into their bedroom, and it was, Mama, what have you done? I didn't know until when I picked up his death certificate that he was shot in the head. I had in my mind the whole time is how could she look in his big, beautiful brown eyes and shoot him in the chest, because that's what I was envisioning. You're in such shock, you don't even ask.
Right.
Like, that's not the first question, like, where was he shot?
Right.
And through the audio, Kaylin was the one that called 911. She couldn't get service. They lived so far out in the country, she had to go to a neighbor's. Mm-hmm. And through the audio, she was just, my mama shot my daddy in the face, because that's like all you could see.
That's so traumatic for you, but imagine for this child to have walked in and to seen her mother, who has now killed your son, her father.
Yeah.
And what is so baffling to me, because folks, this is an all-American couple.
Yeah.
A beautiful couple, beautiful families. Everyone got along. There was no friction. There was no arguing.
That's what I was going to ask you. So did he ever share with you? I know, we talk about adult children all the time on our podcast. Did he ever Did he ever talk about their struggles or like them not getting along and things like that? Because,
Yeah. So there was a time when her pregnancy with Kaylin was perfect. After she had Ian, she had some postpartum depression. But that was, 12 years ago.
Right.
We went by what, my husband said. There was a couple times that my husband and I had to, kind of go over there and talk to her a little bit. But as far as the drugs, no. We had no clue that there was drugs involved.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about that.
Because your son had never taken a drug.
No, and when she was arrested, they had her in a hazmat suit. Let me back up. When she was arrested, the first charge was first-degree murder, premeditated. She'd willingly went out to his pickup truck, got his gun, and
shot him with his own gun.
Came back into the house, shot him with his own gun. I can't tell you, I was telling Todd, I can't remember how many times I even went to court, but we did not want to put the kids through that trial.
Yeah.
So we agreed to second degree first, 20 years.
Right.
She's going to be released 20 years from the day that she killed my son. And I think that's the heart that's like, she's still going to be able to live her life.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she's going to have to live her life knowing what she did.
Yeah.
And sometimes, just sometimes, I have to believe that what God allows us to live with is our punishment.
Yeah.
People are always commenting on my smile and on my teeth and on our whole family's teeth and how pretty they are. But if you have noticed things that you want to fix about your teeth, if you look in a mirror and you're not happy with what you see, or you filed that under someday or a wish list, I have the answer for you. Smile Set can straighten your smile for under $1,800. That's less than half the cost of traditional braces, and it's all done at home. And listen, we have paid for so many braces in our home. Had I known about Smile Set, I would have saved myself so much money. It starts with an at-home impression kit, then a licensed doctor reviews your case and builds your custom treatment plan with your aligners shipped straight to you. Progress is monitored remotely via the Smile Set app with doctor's check-ins available whenever you want. Smile Set even offers nighttime-only aligners so you can straighten your teeth while you sleep. Over 2 million smiles have been fixed with this technology. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee and monthly payments start at $89. I love the fact that you can do this in the privacy of your own home and receive such amazing results. And you're saving yourself so much money. So listeners of our show can get an additional 35% discount when they go to smileset.com/Chrisley. With this discount, you can get the smile of your dreams for under $1,300. Go to smileset.com/Chrisley to get started. Smileset.com/Chrisley. I don't know about you guys, but I've kind of reached my limit when it comes to this hot weather. I hate nothing worse than trying to sleep when it is so hot. I mean, the sheets get stuck to your legs, your hair is matted at the back of your neck. I crank the AC down to 65 just to feel human, and Todd screams. Sleeping hot is miserable. You blame the thermostat, the mattress, even the person sleeping next to you. But it's none of that. It's your bedding. Wrong sheets trap heat. Boll and Branch is the cool side of the pillow, but everywhere. Boll and Branch summer bedding options are breathable, lightweight, and designed to keep you cool all night long. Their sheets are 100% organic cotton, woven specifically for airflow, not just softness. Unlike synthetic cooling technology or chemically treated fabrics, the cooling is structural. It's literally how the cotton is woven. And 94% of Boll and Branch customers say their sheets get softer with every wash. And I can tell you this is absolutely the truth. Grayson stayed at our house the other night, and of course the sheets on the bed were Boll and Branch, and he literally, that was the first thing he said. I slept so good last night because of my sheets. And he had to have the waffle blanket. He has it at school and he wanted it here. So sleep cooler this summer with Boll and Branch. Get 15% off your first order plus free shipping at bollandbranch.com/confessions with code confessions. That's Boll and Branch, BOLLAND, branch.com/confessions, code confessions to unlock 15% off. bollandbranch.com/confessions, code confessions, exclusions apply.
There's still the shock.
Yeah.
You can't say, well, after the initial shock.
Right.
But still, like, I wake up and things are still going through my head.
Right. Let's replay that. If you can, and as much as you want to share.
Yeah, no, let me tell you.
The day that it happened.
I was just going to say, the day that it happened, like I said, it was a Monday after Thanksgiving weekend. I was at work, normal Monday. At 9:14, my phone rings, and it was my youngest son, Matt. And he said, Mom, have you talked to Jake? And I said, well, no, honey, he's probably at work. He said, someone said they heard on a scanner that he'd been shot. And I said, that's ridiculous. I would have heard that. That can't, like, Matt, that's not true.
This was Monday morning.
Called me. That's Monday morning.
Okay.
9:14. I said, Matt, that can't be true. He said, well, let me check around. Well, immediately I start calling Jake's cell phone and not getting any answer. I'm calling her cell phone, no answer. I'm sending text messages. Hey, Matt said something happened. What's going on? Nothing. A mother's gut, like my stomach. I was walking down the hall to tell them, hey, I need to go home. Like, I think something's happened to my son. I get halfway down the hall and Matt calls back and he said, Mom, he's gone. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, Lindsay shot Jake. And I just hit the floor. I hit the floor. I'm so sorry.
You're fine. You were fine.
And I drove myself home because I just wanted to get home. Like, it's a 45-minute drive.
Okay.
Because I work in Nashville. And on the way home at 10 o'clock, the sheriff calls and says, hey, this is, I don't even remember his name. Your son's been shot and he didn't make it, like, so nonchalant. And I'm like, can you do like CPR and try to save him? And they said he had already been gone. And of course I started asking about the grandkids to make sure they're okay. He was killed at 1:16.
And you don't find out until 9 hours later.
And I never found out till the next day from my son. My youngest son had to call and tell me what happened.
How is this even,
Crazy.
But again, law enforcement again.
And like, as a mom, just knowing that he's like taking his last breaths by himself, like, I just wanted to I wanted to be there so bad. But I couldn't go. He was already gone.
So where did the kids go from 1:30 in the morning until 10 o'clock?
So keep in mind, it was probably 40 degrees outside, freezing. Right. They were both in their pajamas, and they had each of them in a separate squad car, interviewing each of them. And they said, where do you want the kids to go? And she said to their nanas, who their nana is their great-grandmother, Jake's grandmother. Uh-huh. And so as soon as I got there, we all, like that, I just went to them first that morning. And then all the rest of the family came. And then, like, you're just in such shock. You can't even think of questions like, ask.
Now, at this point, Jake has now passed.
Yeah.
Lindsay is in custody.
Yes.
The two children are with your mother.
With their grandmother.
Their grandmother.
With Jake's grandmother.
So you go get them.
Yeah.
And then you're left with trying to make sense of all of this.
Yeah.
Trying to prepare for a funeral service.
Yeah.
Walk us through this service, because my mother said that it was literally everyone in that community.
Immediately in between planning the service, legally, the kids had to be placed in my custody.
Right. So
I had to plan that funeral. Like, that happened on a Monday. We had a service on a Friday, because that allowed me to go to juvenile court, get temporary custody of the children, which their mother willingly signed over. My husband and Jake's dad had to go to the house and get their things, get their belongings. So they had clothes at my house. Planning that funeral was heart-wrenching.
It's not something a parent should ever have to do.
Because I kept thinking the whole time she had shot him in the chest. And then when I said, I looked at, his dad, because we divorced when Jacob was 8, but he's still like our best friend, him and his wife. And I said, do we have a closed casket or... And he said, I think we should leave it open and let people know that this is what happens, like, when you get under the influence. His funeral was so big, we couldn't even have it at the funeral home. I think they said 2,500 people attended his service.
Well, that's
what a testament to your son.
If it wasn't for Nanny Faye, she held my hand throughout the whole process. So many people spoke. And, of course, I read a poem. And, when they go to close the casket, I just wanted to scream, please just wait. Not close it up yet. Because I just wanted one more day. You hear so many stories of the things that he did. He has such a big giving heart. He'd always been so involved with the kids. He coached their ball teams, and one of the mothers came and said this at the service. That's when you start hearing so many things. And then I remember looking up at God saying, I did a good job raising him because of all the stories that I'm hearing.
Absolutely.
His heart was just full. He had such a full heart. But the mother said, she said, you don't know me, but your son coached my son's ball team, and I'm a single mom. She said he wasn't going to be able to get to play because I couldn't afford his ball cleats. And she said, your son said, no, you come to practice tomorrow. And she said when she pulled up, her little boy just left my son. He ran up to him, and Jake had bought him a pair of ball cleats so that he could play.
And it was story after story. We talked.
It was story after story. Facebook, what would we do without social media? One of the mothers in town said, hey, it's Wednesday. I don't get paid till Saturday. I'm short on diapers. And she said she looked out her window and saw Jake's truck pulling out. He'd ran up and put a case of diapers on her porch and just drove off. So many stories of just him opening his heart to others, and he was a hard-working boy, lived paycheck to paycheck like, most young families do.
Okay, I want to take a minute to share something really important to me, and that's Good Girl RX, a female-focused health and wellness company created by my daughter, Savannah. As women, we so often put everyone else first and ignore our own health, or we're just told to push through instead of being truly listened to. What I love about Good Girl RX is that it's built around real medical care and compassion. Through their telehealth platform, women can meet virtually with licensed medical providers who take the time to review your health history and goals. If it's clinically appropriate, your provider may discuss personalized treatment options, including GLP-1 medications like tirzepatide, as well as wellness therapies such as NAD. Everything is determined by a doctor and tailored to the individual. As a mother, it means everything to me that this company was created to help women feel supported instead of judged. Everyone's journey is different. Results vary, and not everyone qualifies, but having access to licensed physicians who truly listen can make all the difference. If you're ready to take a step toward prioritizing your health, visit goodgirlrx.com and use code CONFESSIONS15 for 15% off at checkout. Medical care is provided by licensed physicians.
But one story stood out, and we'll get back to all this.
Yeah.
The community came together, and there's this huge blessing box, and it's called the Jake Harris Blessing Box. It's got his big picture on the front. It is packed with non-perishable foods, baby items, school supplies. The company I worked for donated a sign. It's blue and orange because Jake was a huge Florida Gators fan. But last spring, I thought, I'm going to put some flowers out there. And I think I told you the story.
Yeah.
I went out, was coming home from work, and I thought, oh my gosh, somebody planted the most beautiful blue hydrangeas. I thought, who did that? And a few weeks later, I was talking to a friend of mine from church, and she said, I know who put those flowers out. And I said, well, who in the world would have done that? And she said, well, I guess a year or two ago, your son was in the grocery store, and he was standing behind an older man. He was in his late 80s, and he was telling the cashier, the cashier was saying, hey, how's your farm going? And he said, well, I'm having an issue. My gate broke, and my cows keep getting loose. Jake overheard that story. And that next morning was a Saturday, and he'd went out there and fixed that man's gate. And that man said he had looked out and was looking. He thought, well, I don't know who that is. Watertown again, so small. Some man had said, well, I know who fixed your gate. It was that Harris boy. And he said, so he said, I was kind of paying him back. So I wanted to put those flowers out there at the blessing box.
I love that.
So how much does the blessing box do? I mean, in contributions?
Let me tell you, there's again social media on Facebook, because that's mainly where we advertise for it. It has fed so many families. Again, there's cleaning products. We have 2 freezers now so they can come and get meat. Especially right now without school, so many children that get their lunches from school.
Right.
Families are really struggling when they come to the blessing box. We do limit now 2 bags.
Right.
Don't leave some for others too. But at Christmas, I have to tell you this, at Christmas, we had a toy drive, and families had to sign up. We helped over 5,000 children have a Christmas in Watertown who would not have seen Santa. I'm talking bicycles, games, toys, pajamas, socks, gloves, hats.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And this is what we can do when a community comes together.
Yeah.
And, we talk about that on our podcast all the time, that, everything is so political now. And if we would all just look at each other as fellow human beings.
Yeah.
And know that no matter if you're blue or you're red or you're purple or whatever, your heartache is the same.
Yeah.
And let's meet people where they are.
Yeah. And, when the parents, there's one day they can come and shop. And so we have like volunteers from the high school because they have to get those community service hours. Mm-hmm. People leave there in tears because Kaylin and Ian like walk around and help those families like pick out
So
things
Jake's
for their
children
kids.
are actually helping with this.
And they don't, some of them who really, they don't catch on that these were Jake's kids and count to be like, Jake was my daddy. Mm-hmm. And, there's not a dry eye in the house. It's so heartwarming to know how many families that he's touching. Like, I know I could hear him now. He'd be like, oh my gosh, Mom, don't put my picture on that building, But he was just that kind. He didn't want any attention or anything brought. Nope, he didn't want but man, he had that soft smile,
Yeah. Yeah, I told you, it just resonated with me, because I lost my brother.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's been 24 years ago now, but the same kinds of things happen, when his service, there were so many people there and people we didn't even know. And they were like, oh, your brother mowed my grass or he, helped do this or whatever, just things that you just never knew.
And there was so much like goodness brought.
Right.
I had to keep telling in my eyes, like in my head, this was Jake's heart. Like,
yeah.
So now it's so important for me to not let him be forgotten.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. I do want to circle back around. We started talking a little bit. Did you ever have any idea? You said that his wife had suffered some postpartum depression, but did you ever know that there was anything more serious going on? And where did the drugs come into play? And how did all that happen?
Yeah. So when she went through the postpartum right after she had Ian, she'd went for 30 days treatment.
Okay.
We thought she was 100% better. We never seen signs that she was struggling.
Right.
So.
And has anybody come forward, like anybody, her friends or her family, to say
No, and when I look back, I'm thinking, maybe I should have talked to her more about it. But when you don't see the signs, you don't know, you're thinking, oh, wish they put on medication so she's good.
Right.
But now she had postpartum depression, but we're talking about her taking Jake's life 12 years after being diagnosed with
that's what blindsided us when we went to court.
Yeah, because that's not postpartum depression 12 years later.
No, but I'm saying what led to that. Things kind of start here, and then it turns into something else. Because what drugs was it that she was on?
And I fully believe in mental illness, so I'm not.
Absolutely.
I mean, I do, but like Todd said, at the same time, that was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you know that you have issues and you should be on medication,
right,
take that medication, because if not,
right,
you're going to have to face responsibility of your actions.
Exactly. Absolutely. And if anybody is listening or watching this podcast,
so important.
We want you to, if you need help, there is help out there.
Yeah.
But it's not something that can be brushed under the rug.
Right. I think they should get the help that they need. I mean, I personally never experienced that.
Me either.
And my heart goes out to the ones that do, because
it's a real thing.
She was in a bad place, but we thought that everything was under control.
But again, she was in a bad place 12 years prior to this.
Right. So what
what
happened?
I'm trying to what I want to make sure that we're not saying here is that that there is an excuse for why she did this.
No, not at all.
Because postpartum depression is not her excuse and it's not her out.
Exactly.
What I want to know is that she had the postpartum depression after she had her second child. She went to therapy for the 30-day treatment plan.
Yeah.
They put her on medication for that.
Yeah.
So did she continue taking that medication from that point forward?
I think she did for a short period of time from what I'm hearing now.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we didn't see any sign of any issue.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought she was fine.
Right. And so that's then 12 years prior to this.
She worked every day, fully functional as a wife and a mother.
So that it's safe to assume that the postpartum depression has now been handled and we've moved on past that.
Right. Yes.
She decides to take Jake's life at 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And when the police got there, she had so much, what was it, fentanyl?
Yes. There was, I'll get back to something in a moment, but yes, she was heavily on 3 different kind of
Drugs.
Street drugs. Street drugs. She had the most beautiful sky blue eyes. She was a beautiful person. But her rest picture, like her eyes were like black like a demon. She was in a hazmat suit.
Because of, and I think that I want to make sure that our listeners know, is that she was placed in a hazmat suit because she had so much fentanyl in her
system
that it was not safe for the officers and stuff to touch her.
Combination of 3 different drugs. Then we find out that, and this was on a Sunday, early Monday morning, 1:16. She had not slept for 3 days straight. She was up Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. High on life, and high on those street drugs.
But Jake wasn't there these 3 days that she was up. He had taken their son to his first NFL game.
He'd worked. Sunday, he took Ian to his very first NFL football game. It was Thanksgiving weekend, so he stopped at our house I'm like, I got to clean out this refrigerator, stop and get you all some dinner. He stopped and got our leftovers, went home, and he gets up so early because he's supervisor construction company. Went to bed early and took his last breath.
So what is your relationship with Lindsay's family at this point?
My relationship with her?
With Lindsay's family, her parents.
With Lindsay's family.
Yes.
How was when all that happened? What?
So there's a twist to this story. Lindsay is my husband's niece. They were together before my husband and I got together. So, when something like this happens, it definitely affects both sides of the family. But here, this family and this family were actually, related. One family.
Yeah.
And
by marriage. Right.
This happened on November 27th of 2023, but it seems like to every single one of us in the family, it just happened yesterday.
Because it has literally brought so much pain on so many people. So now Lindsay is currently housed in Memphis.
She is housed in Memphis State Prison.
She has no access to the children.
No access. She can. There was a court order that she could not contact them till they turned the age of 18. I do know at one time, I believe that there was letters that she had written to me that were stopped and not mailed out. Yeah, stopped from the prison.
But do you have, how does her family, because this is someone whose child killed your child.
Yeah.
I'm interested in knowing how they have how they've dealt with you and how they face you,
This is one of those where you're a part of me in my heart wants to put myself in their situation. Like, what if it was my son? I know her mom feels like she has some kind of responsibility of what happened. But again, we still like open our doors and open our hearts with open arms, because this is my husband's family too.
Because this is actually your husband. This is your sister-in-law's daughter.
It's my sister-in-law's daughter. Yeah. My husband's niece, who he, I mean, again, they're, such a small family.
And I want to make sure
this is literally like Dateline 2020.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that our listeners understand that Jake is your son from your first marriage.
Yes.
And Lindsay and Jake started dating when they were in high school.
Yeah.
Middle school.
You didn't
middle school,
you didn't marry her uncle until many years later.
Yes.
They had already been dating.
Yes, we got together in 2006 and was married in 2007.
Okay. So it has really tried, it's taken two families to the brink of destruction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, you are working on trying to pass a bill.
Yes.
For Jake.
Yes. So a lot of things going on, like I said, to be Jake's voice. I do not want him to ever be forgotten.
Right.
So I'm currently working with Senator Mark Pody, and there's an existing law holding drug dealers responsible for certain things. But that law is mainly like, a lot of it has to do with pharmaceutical companies, like people can go back and hold them responsible. Rewriting this law, it'll be renamed Jake's Law.
But this is Jake helping someone out, helping many people.
And so it'll hold the drug dealer responsible
for selling these drugs.
for selling the person the drugs that committed the heinous crime, especially if they're they know that they're an active user, like they should be held responsible too.
Right. Well, now, you had said that when she was arrested, there were 3 drugs in her system.
Yeah.
Fentanyl and what else?
I honestly can't remember.
Without getting too deep and betraying, a confidence that maybe your grandchildren have had with you, do they ask about their mother?
No. We went through grief counseling.
Right.
I say we. I went one time. Because even now, like, there's no one that can, like, heal my heart.
Other than God.
Yeah. So to me, I feel like it wasn't
Beneficial for you.
wasn't beneficial. But I still continue to take the kids. Kaylin went a little bit longer than Ian did. Lindsay was Kaylin's best friend, and Jake was Ian's best friend. So Ian has had no communication. I think in the very beginning, Kaylin, her and Kaylin would write letters, but they were intercepted through the kids' attorney that we had.
Right.
So she never physically got a letter. It was like, because they went through and
Took it out.
Took out some things that she shouldn't have
Been put
in there.
Right.
But they haven't seen the kids.
Does
Yeah, so the law, Jake's Law, I go speak at the Capitol in November, and it's going to be the first law written January 2027. So we're super proud of that. Of course, statute limitations, which we would never. It's not. But it'll help other families in the future.
Absolutely.
And that's what.
do we know
want.
where she was getting the drugs?
Do we? We do. So it's funny that you sat actually on Main Street in Watertown. across the street from
this small little
school.
Mayberry town.
Yeah.
And you
just like Mayberry. If you've ever watched Andy Griffith, we still have the little square exactly like Mayberry.
And the drugs. So it goes to show you that you're not safe. No matter, you think as a parent, I'm going to move my child to this rural utopia.
Yeah.
But the drugs are going to find you. The drugs go where the market is.
For sure, one is incarcerated right now.
But on these
so I know we got
one
off the streets right before Jake was taken.
And do the children have any relationship with Lindsay's family?
Yeah, because
it's your husband's
anytime
family.
we have,
they're there.
Christmas holidays, Lindsay, Kaylin's graduation. I always make sure to include them too.
You're a good woman.
Her mother did come to Kaylin's graduation. And Lindsay's grandpa, my husband's dad, the most amazing man. You have to just know that, it shook, all of us to our core.
It's crazy.
So you were left with raising your grandchildren.
Yep, we just become empty nesters, actually. Our youngest, Madison, who just graduated and got married. Jake missed so many milestones. He missed seeing his first child walk down that
stage,
graduation ceremony, and he missed the birth of his little baby sister's son, and they named him Barrett Jacob after Jake. And in fact, they were over this weekend, and I've got canvas prints of Jake in the living room. And sweet little Barrett walks in and he's like, there's Uncle Jake.
Oh,
that's Uncle Jake right there.
So
he's so smart. He'll be 2. So Jake's birthday is Saturday. And Barrett's is the 4th of July. And the whole time Madison was in labor, we just knew he was going to be born on Jake's birthday. So I missed it by just a couple hours.
no.
But they named him, after Jake.
Right.
And every holiday, especially Christmas, because we're all avid readers, so I always get Barrett books, and I put Love Uncle Jake on the inside. So Barrett's birthday is 4th of July, so I have a stack of gifts for him, so I think I have to distribute one every time he comes so it doesn't look like I'm giving him so much. But he loves music, and Jake did too.
Oh.
So I bought Barrett a Bluey guitar. So when he came over Saturday, I was telling Nanny Faye, I said, she said, don't you give him all those gifts. I said, well, I've got just one that I'm going to give him Saturday. And so I wrapped it up and I said, Barrett, this is from your Uncle Jake because he won't be here for your birthday. And he opened it up and he said, Uncle Jake, I'm going to play a tune, play a song. And so just knowing that
you're keeping his memory alive.
Jake misses so much every day. I still try to
Absolutely.
Well, I think that we have to look at our faith when you're in that position, because I don't think Jake's missing anything.
Yeah.
Because Jake is in a much better place than you and I are in right now. And so Jake...
That's what I tell the kids. I said, that's when Kaylin was great, walking that aisle. Jake always gave her pink roses,
Mm-hmm.
So I made sure that we gave her some pink roses at graduation.
He was a good dad.
Yeah.
And he's looking out for his children right now.
Yeah.
That's right.
And, death is hardest on those left behind.
Yeah.
And if you have lived your life in accordance to the word, then you have eternal salvation.
Yeah.
And it sounds like that your son had that.
Yeah.
And I don't even know, there are no words for us to give you other than that our heart breaks for you and breaks for your family. And, just a spur of the moment decision, the pain that it can cause someone.
Yeah.
And drugs, I have 6 children, and, we've dealt with some addiction issues in our family. And, I think that until you've gone down that road and you've lived it, it's hard for you to understand what someone else's troubles are. And I've never had an alcohol problem. I've never drank. I've never done a drug. I've never been around it. Yet I had 2 sons that have experienced it.
Yeah.
And all of my children have drank at this point. And there's been no good to come from it.
Yeah.
But sometimes, really most of the time, we don't learn until we learn the lesson the hard way.
Yeah.
And Lindsay, unfortunately, is now going to spend, because she's got a sentence of 20 years, but does she actually do 20 years?
Yes. There's no chance of parole.
So she's got no early chance. So she will do day for day 20 years.
She will be released 20 years from the day that she took Jake's life.
So how old will she be?
She will be 60.
60. Well,
She'll be 60.
Just so you know, if it helps you, because I know that that there has to be bitterness.
Yeah.
She's going to miss, just like you're talking about Jake, being there to see his daughter walk down that aisle, to walk across that stage. He's going to miss their marriages.
Yeah.
She's going to miss their marriages.
Yeah.
He's going to miss holding his grandchildren. She's going to miss that. So I know that 20 years may not seem like enough for you, and it wouldn't seem like enough for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if I were faced with that. I don't know that the person that killed one of my children would ever make it to a courtroom.
Yeah. I said all that because I had to give a victim's impact statement, and that's exactly what I told her. Jake will never be able to be a grandpa. Mm-hmm. And you'll never be able to be a grandma. Mm-hmm. And that's something that... Now,
did you read this in front of the courts in front of her?
I'm a mother of 3, but I'm a grandmother of 11. Mm-hmm. And I love being a mom, but being a grandma is a whole nother world. Like, that's something that I truly cherish. And neither of them will ever get to... They'll never get to, have that. And I hate that, but
well,
all the
I don't have any sympathy for her.
The badness, like I said, I still have to be Jake's voice,
right?
So I tell the kids all the time. They're like, "Grandma, they tell me you're so strong," and then in my head I want to say, "But I'm so broken." Like. Mm-hmm. I'm so broken.
Right.
But at the same time, we don't want this to define who we are.
But in a way, it will.
It will every single day.
Yes, because this is your new normal.
Yeah.
And you know what? And to say you don't want this to define you, for me, and I'm only speaking for me, Kim.
Yeah.
For me, I would want everything about this moment to define the kind of man that I am. Because that is the testimony that I leave for my grandchildren.
Yeah.
And you are setting an example for your grandchildren.
Amen.
Yeah.
And you're showing your grandchildren that, listen, the greatest hurt that any parent would ever have to go through, your grandmother lived.
Yeah.
Your grandmother survived.
Yeah.
And the greatest gift that I believe you give your grandchildren is for them to see that strength that you have.
Yeah.
Because Jake would want that. Because Jake knew how strong his mother was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Jake knows right now that his children are in a good place.
Yeah. Yeah. Leaving his legacy. That's what I need to do.
Yeah.
Does it heal my heart? No. Does it help my grief? Absolutely not. But and I keep saying this in my head thinking, oh, but you're doing good things. I am doing good things and it's helping me, but more importantly, it is helping so many people.
That's so true.
We have the blessing box.
You're going to have Jake's Law.
I've started the Jake Harris Scholarship Foundation. This is the second year that we've done that. And so we hold little events. Nanny Faye thinks they're so fun. It's a cornhole tournament, silent auction, food trucks. So we raise money and 100% of the funds goes into this foundation. And I go speak at the senior class. And we choose
who the recipient is.
Board.
Right.
Who's going to be the recipient. They are graduating seniors from Watertown High School. Last year, this past May, we gave out $10,000 in scholarships.
I love that.
And it's just so heartwarming to be able to give those big, those checks that they do for us. So I walk in there with these big checks, and just recognize we were actually just going to start with one last year, like a $3,000 scholarship, but as we started reading through all their essays, it's like, oh my gosh, they're touching your heart. So we ended up doing 4 and $7,000. And this year we was able to give $10,000.
That's amazing.
Watertown's so small, you really know those that are in need and that are really going to use it. And these children are extraordinary. We sponsored, Jake was such a big baseball player. We sponsored a community league, and they actually brought me the trophy. They were undefeated and won first place this year.
I love that.
And so it's like a huge 4-foot trophy. My husband's like, where are you going to put that? I'm like, it's going in the living room. So it's like sitting in the living room. So he's got a big banner on the fence, Jake Harris Foundation. And then we've got the law. Jake's Law, and
so many amazing ways to just
remember your son,
remember your
his
son,
memory alive.
keep his legacy going. It's unbelievable. I think also an important conversation that's come from Jake's story is that domestic violence can happen to anyone.
Yeah,
and it does.
You're right, it does. But there was no domestic violence in this.
There was not.
Well, ultimately, it was the biggest domestic violence when she took his life.
Right.
Yes.
But I want to make sure that the world knows that they were not
leading up to it. Yeah,
right.
Nothing.
Right.
I mean, like I said, and I know I've told Todd and Nanny Faye, and I've had this. We have this conversation almost every time. It's like, that DA read through those text messages. Yeah. And he's, well, I think if you were writing a book, it would have been the perfect
love story.
Yeah.
So it also makes you think that mental illness, there's something.
Yeah.
Something snapped.
Yeah.
If you're telling me there was nothing, there was no fights, there was no arguments, and these text messages for years, you're talking 36 months, there's 3 years of text messages. You have to believe that something snapped, You have to believe that something happened.
Either something, Julie and I, we agree to disagree on certain things. Julie has a more forgiving heart and will always look for a way to forgive.
Yeah.
I don't have that capacity. God doesn't give you everything.
Yeah.
I don't have the same level of capacity to forgive the way Julie does.
Yeah.
I look at this situation here and, I don't want Lindsay to be given the excuse that mental illness was why she did this. Yeah. Lindsay did this because she was high on drugs, and she made that decision to seek out a drug dealer. She had enough wherewithal to know where to go to get her drugs.
Yeah. But we also know so many people have mental illnesses and they try to self-medicate, and it turns into exactly, you do get it from somebody on the street, so who knows? Who knows?
Well, I'm just going to say for me that and again, I can say this because what I'm getting ready to say, you've said to me a million times, but Todd, you don't have that problem.
Right.
You don't have that vice.
Yes.
Your vice doesn't get to rob me of my child. Your vice does not get to break my heart. Your vice does not get to prevent me from being able to go to bed and lay my head down at night and be able to get a good night's rest.
Yeah.
Your vice does not get to make me sit across the table from my grandchildren and have to teach them who their daddy really was. So for me, I don't have that forgiveness.
Yeah.
20 years for me, she got off good.
Yeah.
Because if that had been one of my children, she wouldn't have made it to that courtroom.
Yeah.
I would be sitting in prison, but at least I would know that I took out the person that took my heart out of me.
See, that was my big argument, though, Todd, with the DA was her initial arrest was first degree, premeditated murder. That's what we wanted the whole time.
Right. But you put your grandchildren first.
The state evaluation that says, oh, well, there's some mental illness there, but she's competent to stand trial.
Okay, so then we continue moving forward.
So, they delay it. And the very last time, this is the kicker, I was by myself because I thought it was going to be another postponement hearing. And I always took the front row because I thought, and it's not funny, but it kind of is. I would sit in the front row by myself, and you always try to think of something that's not going to make you cry. I would sit there and say, strawberry shortcake in my head, because that's something that's so pretty and so good. And so I would say that the whole time I was sitting in that front row. But then I looked up and I was like, you just get that gut, something's wrong. Like the DA's looking, they're looking over there and they're looking back at me. Her attorney's looking. They're looking at me. Then they bring her out and I'm thinking, something feels off this time.
Did she ever make eye contact with you?
Never made eye contact.
So that tells me that the mental illness is not so severe that she didn't feel shame.
Never made eye contact. I never seen remorse. But then again, I feel like, and we never did get an answer because I started asking, why is she not crying? Like, do you guys have her so medicated after her high on drugs that she cannot show emotion? Like, what is going on? So here they come and they said, we want to talk to you. And so I'm by myself today. And they said it'll take just a minute. So they say, her attorney is asking for second degree. And I said, absolutely not. I said, I can't make that. Just like his brother isn't here or anything. Like, I don't want to make that. I'm not going to make that. I'm not going to agree to that.
Right.
You said first degree. I said, we're going to take this to trial, right? And he's like, well, no, you know, if you go to trial, you have to put the kids on the stand. And I didn't want that. And I said, what if I say no to the 20 years and we go to trial? He said, well, you know, their state psychiatrist or wherever it is who said has some mental illness but can competent stand trial. If one juror thought, oh, she's got some mental illness, guess what?
Hung jury.
No. She gets locked up for 6 months in a mental health institute. 6 months, and she could walk. 6 months. And the DA said,
It gives me cold chills.
He said, I'm fearful for my life. I said, I'm not going to agree to that. And so I remember, I think I got loud because I was by myself. Mm-hmm. And you know, I wasn't prepared for it, so it wasn't registering. And there was 2 DAs, another lady, and one of the officers. And I remember hitting my hand on that desk saying, you told me first degree. I said, I'm not agreeing to this, and I got up and walked out.
And she's in the courtroom with you when this is happening.
And so I went home. I called Jake's dad. Let me back up. Every time I had to go straight to work. I had to put on my work face. But when I got home from work, went straight home, and I'm like, hey, this is what they're saying. And then everyone's like, gosh, could you imagine her walking?
In 6 months.
So I agreed.
So the fear. Isn't that horrible? Mm-hmm. Really, the justice system is
so broken.
Yeah. Broken.
But it's not really broken. The justice system is not broken. The justice system is built to do exactly what it's doing.
Yeah.
Because you have these prosecutors that are lazy, that don't want to put in the effort, and then we have Congress that's sitting there that can literally write these laws. There is no way that someone who has, if you're going to sit here and say, okay, well, this person has mental illness, so they're only going to get 6 months. You've already identified that they have mental illness, that they shouldn't be free.
Right. Yeah.
So why do we even have that provision that you would have 6 months?
Right. Yeah.
And, you know, listen, I know because I've dealt with both sides of the system now.
Yeah.
And people that start out in these DA offices and these U.S. attorneys' offices, they're only looking for the next big hit. They're looking for what law firm they're going to land into where they can start making, you know, $6,000, $8,000 an hour because they're not doing it as a local DA. Yeah. And they don't want to put forth that effort in order to bring this case in. Yeah. They want to eat. The federal system, 98%, their success rate's 98%, 97.3% or something. The only reason that's the case is because they instill such fear in the people that they indict, the same way they did to you when they said, well, you know, either you'll agree to the 20 years or, you know, if you go to trial, she could walk in 6 months. The same as what they said to me. If you agree to 15 years, then we'll let Julie walk. We don't think she's ever done anything anyway.
And I won't cuss, but that's BS.
Right, exactly.
But the whole time it's like, you know, here I am, a mother of a murdered child. Like,
and where's your compassion? Where's your sympathy?
The whole
or empathy,
picture,
rather.
I'm thinking, I can't do this to these kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you kind of have to put that aside and think of the kids.
Yeah.
Well, I believe that everything that happens in life, God has his hand on.
Yeah.
What you and I went through is nothing compared to what you're going through.
Nothing.
And I would take what me and Julie went through 10 times over than to ever have to go through what you're going through. But I have to believe that my Lord and Savior makes no mistakes.
Yeah.
And there will be good to come from it. Good's already coming from it.
Absolutely.
Now, there's going to be a lot of heartache through his children.
Yeah.
And there's going to be anger because they've not even started on the cusp of what that anger is going to do. And their mother is going to sit in prison for 20 years.
Yeah.
And she's going to have to realize all these dates that she's missing. She's going to have to realize that I gave birth to these 2 children, and yet I turned their life upside down.
Yeah.
I stripped from them an excellent father, a good, decent, godly man who was a good provider, who kept stability in our home, all so I could be a drug addict.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that empathy is not coming from me.
You know, there was little stories too that we heard, and I have to say, for the record, what we heard is like she would tell, like, leave work towards, like, and I'm saying towards the end, like maybe a month before this happened, she would leave work. But she would have someone call her work, pretend like they're the school nurse, saying, hey, your child's sick. You need to come pick him up from school.
Now, what kind of job did she have?
So she'd be more, well, she had a really good, like a reception job. And then I think there was times that she was missing, not performing her duties, so they kind of put her like out in the warehouse, so she was like an order taker type thing. But I mean, she was super intelligent. I mean, book smarts and evidently street smarts too. When I tell you all, we were shocked, like never in a million years.
It's crazy. But it shows it can happen to anyone. I mean, you're proof sitting here that, I mean, you think everything's just,
Yeah.
you know, good. And it's
And
not.
my husband says that all the time.
Yeah, it's
He
crazy.
said, you know, your problem is not everybody, it's not always sunshine and rainbows.
I have
That's
to do
true.
that with this one right here.
He does. He says that. And I'm like, well, you know, and he's like, no, like.
Well, you know, we know that you're doing so many amazing things, and we're so just happy to have been able to meet you, unfortunately, under the circumstances, but believe everything happens for a reason. And the amazing things that you're doing to keep Jake's legacy alive are just, I mean, speaks testament to the mother that you are.
Thank you.
So we want to thank you for just having the courage to share the story, and for trusting us with Jake's story.
Thank you.
And, you know, we would just want that, it's a crazy story. You said yourself, it's a Dateline, it's a 2020. But it's also your son.
Yeah.
And so we want to always be mindful of that. And just to know that, you know, it's not in vain. We see everything. And we hope everybody watching and listening to this podcast does too, whether it's to contact you with the blessing box, the whatever, the fund for the scholarships, anything. Watertown, small town, so you'll be easy to
all
find.
All they got to do is, you know,
And
Jake Harris Foundation Scholarship is right there. You can
Julie
click
and
that
I
little
today
link
would
and-
like to let you know that we will sponsor 5 children for that scholarship fund.
Thank you.
And we want to help you with your blessing box in Jake's name. So we will post all of this on our socials and on this podcast where you can all give and to donate whatever you can.
Thank you so much.
But Julie and I will continue each year to help you with 5 of those children to give scholarships in his name.
Thank you. You know, I told you his birthday was Saturday. The last birthday that I celebrated with him, Danny faded too.
Oh,
So we've got like all those pictures. You'll have to see the kids call it our Nanny Faye album. But when I told Jake, he's like, you know, when are we eating? I said, well, you know, Nanny Faye will be here at 1. And the first thing he said, what is this, Todd and Julie coming? I'm like, No, he's like, oh, yeah. He said, but I still pray for him. I said, yeah.
Well, then, Kim, we thank you for coming and sharing your story and for sharing Jake's story.
So much.
And our family loves you guys. And anything
we
that
love
you
you
need
all
from
so
us,
much.
we're here for you.
So I'll keep you all posted.
Please do. Please do.
You know,
and I'm excited about November.
And go speak at State Capitol. And it's going to be the very first law.
I love that.
Mark
I
Cody.
love that. Well, good luck.
He's been amazing. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Good luck and God bless.
We love you all. Thank you.
Until next week, good luck and God bless.